What's up, everybody? It's Gary Franchi coming to you live on the Raw feed. We're streaming to millions worldwide on YouTube, plus our Patriots on Rumble and X. Make sure you're following us on all platforms because Big Tech loves to play games with our reach. And as you're watching right now, share this stream via text message to bypass their algorithms. X viewers, hit that repost button and spread the truth to your followers. We need you to be our digital army. Now listen up, what sets the Raw feed apart is we don't just talk at you, we talk with you. Your comments, your reactions, your voice, it actually matters here. And we're going to be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments and featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now. Fill up the Alex Jones Was Right jar, even before we dive into today's explosive episode. If you want to support the show privately, you can check out those donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us fight the information war. Now, let me tell you about our merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We got some new merch that just dropped. So you can wear your favorite news source with pride and trigger some liberals while you're at it. You can also become a YouTube channel member. Each level has its own perks. Get special acknowledgement in the chat, exclusive access to the Next News team, behind-the-scenes content, and our members-only 24/7 Discord chat. So hit that join button down below. It is Donald Trump's 23rd week of his return to the White House, and history is repeating itself, but not the way you may think. Today, July 1st, takes me back to 1863 in my time machine. On this very date, the Battle of Gettysburg began, the bloodiest conflict of the Civil War. For 3 days, Americans fought. Americans fought over the soul of our nation, brother against brother, state against state. The establishment versus those demanding change. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what we're witnessing today. And just like Union and Confederate forces clashed at Cemetery Ridge, we're watching an all-out war between Trump's America First movement and the deep state establishment. But instead of muskets and cannons, they're using leaked memos, media lies, and million-dollar smear campaigns. And today, we're exposing 5 battles in this new Civil War. First, we've got exclusive access to Travis Gilmore from Epoch Times, who just rolled into Illinois during his 2,500-mile journey, documenting how mainstream media propaganda is tearing America apart. He saw Trump's parade with his own eyes, packed with thousands, while CNN reported empty spaces. And just like Gettysburg, the first casualty of war is truth. Second, Trump has just unveiled Alligator Alcatraz, a fortress in the Florida Everglades, where criminal aliens will face justice, built in 8 days with 30-foot walls and actual alligators as guards. Even Lincoln would be impressed with that kind of efficiency. And third, the streets are erupting as ICE launches raids nationwide while CNN literally promotes apps to help criminals escape. Tom Homan calling for DOJ investigations while liberal activists sabotage law enforcement at Home Depots. This is insurrection by another name. And fourth, in a massive victory, the Senate just passed Trump's one big beautiful bill, with Vice President Vance casting the deciding vote. The greatest tax cut in history moves forward while Democrats try to burn down the economy. And fifth, this is the big one. We have obtained leaked documents showing Big Pharma's $2 million war chest to destroy RFK Jr. before September. The Biotechnology Innovation Organization secret plot makes Watergate look like child's play. And just like Gettysburg determined whether America would survive as one nation, these battles will determine whether we remain a republic or become a corporate oligarchy. The ammunition has changed, but the war remains the same. Freedom versus control. Truth versus propaganda. The people versus the powerful. So buckle up, Patriots. The Raw feed starts now. Let's welcome you to the show. Look at that. Tom B420 already dropping a 10 spot in the jar right out the gate. And yes, I can see the usernames have been corrected. Thank you, Brian, for looking into that. $10 in the jar. Tom B420. Love it. Oh, and R. Boyd, he already hit up before Tom B420 with $5. Thank you for that. Even G, much love from everyone here. Put a 5 spot in there. So we're already rolling hot with $15 in the Alex Jones Was Right jar. But who else is in the house tonight? We got Karen and Sabrina, Truthy Ruthie, Robert Lockhart, Queen Bee's Art Hive is here. Who else? Washco Accountability, Sabrina. Let's see who else is in the house. I'm going to scroll back to the main chat and see who else I'm missing. Mama Bear, Marianne, Nunu, Deplorable Diva. Come on, guys, type it up. Who's here? Say hello. Let's see. Pothead Kearney, Paula Lohman, Tony Houston, Scontek, French style. Who else is here? Deplorable Diva, Paula, Tony. We've got, who else is here? What was that one? That was Bill Bill Hunklebunkle's in the house. Let's see. Sabrina says, AZ, we were both watching that. He made it to NATO. He big. Yeah, that was quite a freaking trip. I'll tell you that much. That was something awesome. I will never forget that. AZ Outdoors is here. He says, I remember watching Gary on this channel during the 2016 election. I remember watching a live broadcast early in the morning when President Trump won in 2016. That seems like it was a long time ago. 2016, yeah, we're at 2025 now, so 9 years ago. Sure use here. Unleash the ice gators, he says. How funny. Yeah, watch out for those ice gators. Who else is in the house? Lippin. And we've got Katie. The DOD and FBI InfraGard are using innocent Americans as guinea pigs. They are using directed energy weapons that are attached to the satellites on us. Let's see, we got Rick Bruno. Trump take America back. We got the MAGA general here. Trump should go after those rogue activist judges. I think he is. TJ says, has anyone else noticed you leave a comment and it's not there? You're coming for our freedom of speech. Well, they've been coming for our freedom of speech for a while. Redneck white boy with blue eyes is here. Banana dance. Cincy in the house. Frank, what's up? MAGA dump. Mag dump. No, MAGA mag dump. Nice. Stephen Alsup, Indiana in the house. Rexton is here. Shannon Jackson. What's up, Shannon? Derek Martin's in the house. The gang is all here. Leela E. We got Pothead Kenny. Kentucky on phone and TV. He's double dipping the show tonight. But we've got news to get to, so enough playing. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Oh, wait. I have to do a trivia question.
How dare you?
Sorry. I apologize. Okay, all right. Trivia. Oh, there, Brian's got it for me. Thank you. Trivia question. In 1898, which media mogul's yellow journalism helped start the Spanish-American War? Was it A, William Randolph Hearst, B, Joseph Pulitzer, C, Benjamin Franklin, or D, Horace Greeley? I'm going with William Randolph Hearst on this one. Yes, I remember that story in grade school, learning about that. So I'm going with A. You guys can weigh in the comments, in the chat, in the poll. We're going to find out exactly what that answer is after this, so let's jump into it. They told you Trump's parade was empty. They told you ICE was raiding schools. They told you America hates its president. All lies. One brave journalist just drove 2,500 miles across this nation, stopping at gas stations, diners, street corners to get the real story. And what he discovers is going to shock you to the core. The mainstream media isn't just wrong. They are deliberately deceiving you. From California to Illinois, Americans are waking up to the greatest propaganda campaign in our history, and the evidence is overwhelming. The truth is undeniable. And the man who collected it just showed up in my backyard with the receipts, so keep on watching. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflations, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account and receive 2 5-ounce Silver America the Beautiful coins. That's 10 ounces of silver free. So visit nextnewsgold.com or call that number 877-646-5347. It's your exit from the danger zone. Now, going into here it is, On the Ground Truth Tour. I just sat down in my backyard with Travis W. Gilmore. He's a friend. He's a White House friend. I met him at the White House. He works for Epoch Times. I'm a subscriber to the Epoch Times. And he told me he was going on this mission. And I said, well, if you're traveling across country, you better stop in Chicago, buddy. Like, you're going to stop at my place. We're going to go out for a drive. I'll show you the town, show you the studio, and then we're going to talk about what you've learned. And, well, here it is. What's up, everybody? It's Gary Franchi and Travis Gilmore. Look who's here. Look who showed up in Illinois from the Epoch Times. Travis, what are you doing in Illinois?
Oh, it's great to be here, Gary. Thank you so much for having me. You caught me on a cross-country road trip. We're going coast to coast right now, just getting the pulse of America, seeing what's going on, how the people are feeling.
Really? Where do you start out? California?
Started in California, coast in Fort Bragg. It's a little town most people have never going to have heard of, but 2 hours north of San Francisco. It's beautiful, Mendocino coastline. So we started out there. We worked our way over. So I'm on a solo mission here. Done about 2,500 miles so far.
Oh, wow.
Came across Reno, went through Elko, Salt Lake City, up through Wyoming. Then I shot down to Colorado for a few days. It's been a really fun.
So you're getting the pulse of America. You've got a big feature that's going to be coming out in the Epoch Times. I'm a subscriber. You guys should subscribe if you haven't yet. I get it in my mailbox. Love it. So you got a big feature coming out, and you're just taking the pulse of America, the heartbeat, like the heartland of America, by going through it. And what are you seeing so far?
I'm seeing lots of really interesting things. So on a 4th of July perspective, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are really excited. So a lot of the traveling, everyone's excited about food, having fun with their family, and from all walks of life. Talk to all different ages, all race, every type of person. Everyone loves the 4th. They all have their different reasons, but it's really cool to see the common ground there. I am seeing some tension when I talk to people on the streets. So not related to the 4th as much, but just when we've got a lot of foreign policy stuff, a lot of geopolitical tensions, a lot of things going on here domestically as well. So when I talk to people on the streets, I'm hearing a lot of concerns from some people about ICE. So depending on who you talk to, people are either really excited about ICE, they love to hear what Tom Homan's doing, what the administration's doing to secure the border. It has to be noted that going through all these states, even in Nebraska, yesterday when I was going through, there is a significant amount of graffiti and talk on the streets. When you just talk to the regular people out there, that there's a combination. You can talk to some people are afraid, other people are angry, and we all know what happens when you have fear and anger. Like, these are very powerful emotions. So it's really going to be interesting to see where this plays out from here.
So you're traveling through, and like, you're seeing every cross section of America, and you approach these people like you're just some guy walking up to them in the gas station or a diner. And is it easy to get Americans to open up to you? Because you're talking about sensitive topics.
Yes.
Like, they say in a bar, you don't talk religion, you don't talk politics. That goes the same in some of the places across the country. You don't just walk up to a stranger and start asking them, what do you think about Iran? What do you think about ICE? Like, those are very hard conversations to have. Are you finding it easy, that these are actually easier conversations, or are you pulling teeth?
It can be both.
Really?
Absolutely, yes. And then there's also just this concern. The general public sometimes doesn't want to deal with the media. And you see this a lot of times too. The higher up a person is in their organization, the less likely they are to want to talk to the media, the more they are very cautious with their words. So it's really interesting talking to the person on the street. You either get the one that you start the interview and then it's very difficult to get out of it because they have so many things they want to say. Or you have where they don't want to say anything. Either don't want to say anything about the media or about the specific topic. I always try to find the common ground initially, where something we can talk about that's not. And then if we can lead into something that's a little more sensitive, then we have that to go with as well. But like you said, if you just go straight to Iran or straight to something tough, probably not going to.
Hey, what do you think about those bunker busters? How do you wake up to that news, right?
And because we both have experience in the White House, it kind of helps lead into the politics. A lot of times they'll ask me, "Oh, what do you do? Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm a White House reporter." So then automatically we're into that political sphere. And because people have a lot of questions for us, so I like the two-way street. I love when they're asking me questions about work. How is it getting to speak with the president or speak with Caroline's team or all these things? It's really cool where you can relate to people, get their questions answered, you get your questions answered. In the end, we actually have a relationship instead of just being this crazy guy who came and approached you. And it is really, it's fun. But life is, as all your listeners know, is that when you just kind of go with the flow, we all come together when we're supposed to. And that's one of the fun things about this adventure is I get to see how similar we all are. We all love family. We all love this country. We all want to see it do better. And that how we get there, we might have some different ideas, but when we come together, we can really make things happen.
Is it evident when you talk to people what side of the fence they're on, whether they're Democrat or Republican? Do their talking points reflect the media that they're digesting? How easy is it for you to ascertain off the first thing they say as to, what if they're Republican, Democrat, or whatever?
Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's very challenging. And then sometimes it's easy. So I started off this trip in California where you think you're going to you have a preconceived notion of who you're going to run into out on the streets. And it just so happened that the people I was running into, a lot of conservative voices.
Really?
So that was surprising. And then as you move through different communities, sometimes when I start talking with someone, I have an idea like, oh, they're probably going to go this way. And they shock me and go completely the other way. But one of the things I've noticed is that we're seeing a change right now. So we've seen, even in California, I had multiple people tell me on this trip that lifelong Democrats, but their words exactly, once my finances are impacted, I don't care how I voted before. So this is someone who, yes, maybe they have this political ideology, but now their quality of life is being affected. And now this is completely changing their voting pattern. So this is opportunities for one side. At the same time, we're now seeing this interesting divide here with ICE. Where do we go from here? Do the Democrats capitalize on this, try to get back some of these votes? Do the Republicans recognize and try to fine-tune their messaging and really make people understand why this is happening and what's going on? There's a lot of unknowns. When I talk to people, it's unknowns about the tariffs, it's unknowns about the ICE. And just like when we see Wall Street doesn't like unknowns, the American people also, it leaves them this sense of anxiety, really, when they don't know what's coming.
So you're seeing a lot of American people who still have unanswered questions, and they're not able to really ascertain the direction of this White House. I mean, from what I can see, the messaging from the White House has been pretty clear, but even that clarity from the top isn't translating down to the people. Is that a correct assessment?
I think that is a correct assessment. I would also say, and I agree with you, that the messaging from the White House is clear. The problem is, if we ask these people where are they getting their messaging, it's probably the middleman where things are getting distorted. So depending on whatever their media outlet is, that's then distorting what the White House is saying or giving them this mixed messaging in terms of the effectiveness or the impacts of these different policy decisions.
That's why Epoch Times is so important. That's why Next News Network is so important, because when I'm reporting, I'm delivering exactly what the White House is saying. I'm getting the White House press releases. I'm covering the press briefings. You're seeing all the messaging from all the members of the administration, and their message is very clear. So I translate that message with clarity, I digest it with clarity, and I present it with clarity, and my viewers understand that. Now, of course, I have 2.25 million subscribers, just in one slice of the internet ecosystem.
Yeah.
And those people speak to other people, so there is a ripple effect that goes out. In Epoch Times, you guys are print, you're on video, you're on. I mean, you have every single medium covered through Epoch Times, and your reach is massive as well. So the clarity that we're presenting, I mean, it just needs to get out there more. I mean, I find myself more often than not, correcting narratives
Yes.
that are coming out of MSNBC or CNN or any of the mainstream outlets, and it's so frustrating.
Yes.
Like we did a report just yesterday about the Ice Block app that has just that.
Oh, yeah.
And CNN's out there like promoting it.
Yes.
And you can hear how they're couching it like, oh, it's something like, yeah, it's pretty dangerous, but they're still amplifying it. They're talking to the guy who created it. They're explaining it piece by piece how to use it and how to download it. So even though they try to couch it as like some kind of a, unbiased report, they're amplifying that message. And when they amplify the message, it clouds the judgment of Americans, even though like only 4 people are watching CNN.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a distortion of that message, though, that really is dangerous when you see how it impacts the average person. Because when I'm out in the streets right now and I hear these people telling me they're arresting people at school and they're pulling people out of offices, this is the fear that I have not seen any evidence of this, but just the fact that these people have this belief that this is happening, it is.
Well, here's a perfect example. Chicago, mainstream press in Chicago. Terry Newsom, shout out. He was the one that covered this. He saw it on the press, and it was an ICE raid at a school, okay? But actually, it wasn't. The media painted it as an ICE raid, but it was actually, there were federal agents that were serving a warrant on somebody who had some criminal background, and it was distorted by the press as if it was an ICE raid. But then the story goes out. And that's all people hear. They don't hear the retraction. They don't hear the correction. And that's like the biggest problem is when the mainstream press jumps on a story that goes to fit their own narrative and the damage is already done.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why people on the street, at the gas station, at the diner, are going, yeah, they're arresting people at schools. I saw it on WGN News. Well, they didn't watch the night after when they corrected the story.
Yes. And then there was also a lot of people, and I don't watch enough of the mainstream outlets to know where this narrative is coming from, but a lot of these people were asking me, so what happened to the Army parade? They heard that there was no crowds there. I was there. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people never actually made it in. So I don't know if this is CNN, MSNBC. One of these outlets definitely took some shots of what looked like wide open spaces, said no one's at the parade. Wow. So I interviewed these people in Elko that basically told me our little parade with 400, 500 people had more than that one. And I was like, no, I was there. There were thousands of people in DC that never actually got into.
Because it was overcrowded.
It was overcrowded, and they had a really weird security situation. So they changed because the inclement weather was coming, and they really Trump wanted to do the flyover. They had this whole itinerary plan, and so they made this decision last minute to move the schedule up. So the president, usually if we see a guidance, the president will be here at 5 p.m. We're all there early, but we're usually at 5:45, 6.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's late. He works so hard, he's pushing every meeting goes longer than expected. It's not like he's late to one.
Yeah.
They just all go long, and then it ends up pushing the day back. Well, for this event, he starts 45 minutes early. So we look up on the podium, there's the president. No one's even expecting him yet.
What?
And when he shows up early, they shut down every gate. So now logistically, they had figured, okay, we'll let everybody in. Now Secret Service shuts down everything. So now they can't, all these people, me included, are stuck on the outside, can't get in. While the media is running wide frame shots of the other side, not showing the literally thousands and thousands of people snaked all the way around that are there for the parade.
Oh my goodness.
But can't get in. And then now that while I'm on this trip, I'm here, so I'm having to correct that narrative, just like you said.
Unbelievable. Wow.
It's just optics. And one side, and there's no objective reality to some of these outlets. I'm not going to name names, but your viewers know perfectly well who is capable of providing objective, real news. There's one side that is not interested at all. That is all about creating optics, creating headlines, playing this gotcha moment, when there are plenty of us on the ground that really are working hard. We want you to know what is going on and what is really happening at the White House, what the administration is doing, and then around the country. Because it's really, that's the other cool thing about the road trip. When you and I are at the White House, we're stuck in this bubble.
Yeah.
It's really cool seeing history in action, but we're not seeing how it impacts the people. And to be out here in the heartland, seeing everyone and seeing how the policies impact people, how just the idea of policy impacts people is so impactful that it really just, it highlights to me, or it reinforces to me our mission as journalists to really an informed educated public actually has the power to make the right decisions for all of us.
Yeah.
And so that's our goal, is just to inform the public so that when it does come time for elections, we make the decisions and we're all in a better situation because of it.
Yeah, that's always been my thing. We want to give people as much information that they can act on to make the best informed choices for themselves and their families. And unfortunately, when you turn on a lot of the news stations, even local news, it's so skewed. And it's even just some of the slight choice words that are used that just skew the angle just enough that it's subliminally absorbed by the populace, and then everyone's misinformed, and then you're out there in the middle of the country correcting narratives,
Yes.
On the side of the road. Like, it's crazy.
And it's a weaponization of language. When you look at how these things are very carefully crafted and created, it's evil genius. It's very
Yeah. Well, Travis, it's really cool to have you out here. We're sitting in my backyard. I heard he was coming through town. I said, you got to stop by and just hang out. And, I want to hear about your trip. And he's now sharing that with us. So what's next for Travis? Gilmore, Epoch Times, and you're going on to back to the White House soon?
Going back to the White House soon. Got a lot going on. So the president is back here in Iowa, right next door, in July 3rd, America 250, the celebration. So this is the kickoff to this. It's going to be a year-long celebration around the country. It's going to culminate next July 4th in D.C., massive party. So definitely, no matter where you're at in the country, keep an eye on America 250. It's a great organization, completely nonpartisan. This is just celebrating freedom and the democracy are the foundations of this country. And then on July, basically the end of this week, we're headed to going to Seoul, to South Korea, and to Kuala Lumpur with Marco Rubio.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Holy cow.
It should be fun. So there's an economic summit.
Have you ever been there before?
No, first time.
Wow, I wonder what the food's going to be like.
I'm curious as well.
Yeah.
Yes, this is going to be good. And then the president, I don't know if you're going July 15th in Pennsylvania with Senator McCormick.
Oh.
That's what we've got on the initial window here.
Interesting. Well, we're going to keep track of all the White House activities wherever we are in the world. And we're here with Travis Gilmore and the Epoch Times. And great to have you out here, man.
Thanks so much, Gary. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
So Travis Gilmore right there in the backyard. And if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, here's why this matters. It's because we're living through the death of objective journalism. When Travis Gilmore reveals that media outlets deliberately photograph empty spaces at packed Trump events, that's not bias, that's warfare. When Chicago press screams about ICE school raids that never happened, that's not a mistake, that's sabotage. The Epoch Times and Next News Network stand as the last line of defense between you and total information control. We deliver the White House briefings unfiltered. We show you the crowds they hide. We correct the narratives they push, because when the press becomes the propaganda arm of the resistance, independent journalism becomes an act of rebellion. So here's my question. Do you trust any mainstream media outlet to tell you the truth anymore? Drop a yes or no in the comments. And while you are fired up, check out our new merch. You can see it right there on screen. Alligator Alcatraz merch, President Auto Pen merch. It's all linked down below. Show the world you stand with real journalism, and you can trigger a liberal today. It's shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. Let's see. Do we have super chats checking in? No super chats. So we'll jump right to Chomp, Bud, Jose Diaz. Don't trust the media. Love my N3 hat, says Pothead Kenny. Karen, older than most of you here. Brandon, I heard Gators love foreigner food. That's funny. Okay, bring up that trivia answer. You guys said A, William Randolph Hearst, and you were correct. And I can press that button now, I guess. Here it is.
How dare you?
That's what I thought, too. William Randolph Hearst is sensational Remember the Maine campaign pushed America into war through fake news. Yeah. It's an old tactic still being employed today. Now moving to our next trivia topic. Which president's 1981 tax cuts were the largest in U.S. history before Trump? A. Jimmy Carter, B. Ronald Reagan, C. George H.W. Bush, or D. Bill Clinton? 81? I guess I'm going to have to say Reagan on that, right? Am I good on that? B. Reagan? That's where I'm going. Where are you going to go? You can drop your answer in the poll in the comments or in the chat room as we move into our next topic. Okay. The establishment said it was dead on arrival. The swamp creatures claim they had the votes to kill it. Even some Republicans whispered it couldn't pass. Well, they were all wrong. In a moment that will echo through history, the vice president cast the deciding vote that changed everything. The one big beautiful bill has cleared its biggest hurdle, and the implications are staggering. $4 trillion hangs in the balance, your paycheck, your retirement, your children's future, all riding on what happens next. And the media won't tell you what's really in this bill. They won't explain why the establishment fears it, but we will. So stay tuned. And as Trump's big, beautiful bill promises the greatest tax cut in history, there's something even more valuable you can give your family: economic literacy. The Tuttle Twins magazine, you can see it right here. It teaches kids how money really works, why lower taxes create prosperity, and how government spending affects their future. While politicians debate trillion-dollar bills, your children need to understand these concepts now. The monthly magazine breaks down economics, liberty, and responsibility through fun comics and activities. Don't let schools indoctrinate your kid with socialist economics. Subscribe, a family member, a grandchild, a niece or nephew, for just $56 a year. That's nothing, okay? It is an investment in their education. Visit TuttleTwins.com/next and give them the tools to understand why this tax bill matters for their generation. Remember, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. Now, let's jump into what we've got going on here. Did you see this? A reporter asked President Trump if he would deport Elon Musk. What did he say? He said, we'll have to take a look. What?
Terminated. I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid, maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, So I'm going to give that one to Peter. I'm going to let Peter test.
What? Deport Elon Musk? Oh, sounds like there's trouble in paradise. Here we have more. Fox News, I admire Elon's leadership on rockets. I'll take care of the finances. Here's Secretary Scott Bessent on Fox and Friends talking about Trump's big, beautiful bill.
White House. Elon Musk says this: it's obvious with this insane spending bill, increases the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. We live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. And he's probably going to start one if this passes. What's your reaction? You guys famously tangled in the White House.
I admire Elon's leadership on rockets. I will take care of the finances.
So do you feel as though he says the $5 trillion adding to the deficit? You don't agree?
I don't agree at all. Let me tell you why. Because this bill will set off growth like we've never seen before. The CBO projections only project 1.8% per year growth, which is substantially below what we saw in President Trump's first term. And I think we are going to see big acceleration here. And once you see the growth trajectory change to an upward bias, the bill more than pays for itself. We could be in surplus.
Sounds good to me. The bill pays for itself. What do we have here? Applause breaking out in Florida as the president is informed that the Senate passed the One Big Beautiful Bill.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you. I'm waiting, listening to these wonderful words, and they are music to my ears, but I was also wondering how we're doing, because I know this is prime time. It shows that I care about you, because I'm here and I probably should be there, but we do care. Thank you very much.
And President Trump down in Florida checking out Alligator Alcatraz. Oh, what's Chuck Schumer? Oh, he's still trying to cause, after failing in the Senate, Schumer is still trying to cause the largest tax hike in American history and lying in the process.
I'm urging every House Democrat to vote no, and I'm urging Republican House members. We have 6 in New York. This bill clobbers New York. They should, if they vote for it, they're betraying New York. I'm urging every House Democrat.
Yeah, he should probably be more worried about the mayor incoming to New York if he actually wins. Here's President Trump on Air Force One talking about deportations.
Angst. Well, it's going to take a long period of time. We're going to have a lot of angst, because it's a tough thing. But no, I think they're doing an amazing job, and we're doing a lot of home deportations. We're doing a lot of deportations,
He said home deportations. I said Home Depot, but yeah, they're going to Home Depot too.
Deportations where they come in and they deport, and then they want to come back into the country, and they can only come back into the country under no circumstances unless they go out the proper way. Otherwise, they're never coming back in. No, I think it's going very well. Look, Biden did us a tremendous disservice when he allowed this to happen to our country. And I always said it's the toughest thing. I had inflation and I got rid of it. We don't have inflation. I had a bad economy and we set a new stock market high today. We're doing unbelievable. The country is doing unbelievable. I always said the most difficult thing is what happened at the border, allowing 21 or 25 million people to come into our country. It's the most difficult thing. It's a very hard thing. I think we're doing a fantastic job in getting them out. But you have a...
Let's keep going. We got some more news to cover here. Let's see. Illinois. What? Rapid Response 47. Rockford gas prices ticked down over the past week. Let's see what's going on in Illinois.
To the lowest. Rockford gas prices ticked down slightly over the past week. That's according to the latest report from Gas Buddy. An average gallon of gas currently costs $3.24. The national average fell as well, down to the lowest price for the 4th of July weekend since 2021. Wow. Despite tensions in the Middle East, oil prices have fallen after a ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran last week.
I'll take it. I'll take that penny. Thank you. Here's more. La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Are down. Here's the good news. Gas prices are down.
Gas prices are much lower than we have seen in recent years, about 20 cents lower than they were this time last year.
As of Monday, the average price for a gallon of regular gas was $3.19. That's 3 cents cheaper than a week ago.
That sounds good to me. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, NEC Director Kevin Hassett talking about if the bill doesn't pass, what will happen?
CBOs.
How are you sure that this one will not do what the Congressional Budget Office says it's going to do?
Well, the CBO's record is sort of 0 for a million, right? And so if we've got a person who's been playing in the major leagues and has never got a hit, then you should pretty much count on the fact that they're not going to have a hit again. The bottom line is that if this bill doesn't pass the House, then the one thing we know for sure is that the deficit's going to explode. We're going to have a recession, and revenues are going to go way down, and government spending is going to go way up because of all the welfare and everything that has to go up in a recession. And so if you don't pass this bill, for sure you're going to have a massive increase in the deficit. If you do pass the bill, then what's going to happen is you're going to get all the spending cuts. The biggest spending cut bill in history is the thing that just passed the Senate. And then you're going to have the growth from all of the tax cuts. And so the growth from the tax cuts by the Council of Economic Advisors estimate is going to raise $4 trillion in revenue over the next 10 years, more than what the CBO says. That $4 trillion is more than enough to pay for the bill. And then the other thing...
Sounds good to me. Let's keep going because the bill did pass. Here's the Treasury Deputy Secretary talking about the implementation of the bill and the trade deals that are underway.
I'm still to this day shocked that the economists over at the Fed refuse to admit that the tax and spending and deregulatory agenda that we had in the 2017 to 2019 timeframe that we are implementing again during the second term of the Trump administration generated incredible success. We had huge job gains, we had huge wage gains, we had great economic growth, and we had low inflation. And so what we're doing is going back to a proven strategy. If you create incentives for American people to invest in our nation by putting capital to work, by staying in the labor force, by having workers and companies focus on their actual activities of providing goods and services to the American people rather than engaging in regulatory compliance, you can better serve the American people's needs without inflation. And so as we implement this bill, as we get our trade deals underway, as we allow people and businesses to make their own decisions, we will, in a non-inflationary way, bring prosperity to the American people.
Prosperity is coming to America after devastating years of Joe Biden. Oh, here's the meme. Gotta love the memes.
Amended is divided. The vice president votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
Oh, one of my favorite memes ever. Here is the actual moment.
Nays are 50. On this vote, the yeas are 50. The nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the vice president votes in the affirmative.
Wow.
The bill as amended is passed.
Wow. That's how close it is, folks. Razor thin margins right now. And that is why we need to hold the House. We need to hold the Senate. Here is Senator Marsha Blackburn. This is just 24 hours ago. Talking about strengthening Medicaid by ending the corruption that has allowed 1.4 million illegal aliens to exploit the program.
Estimate there are millions of vulnerable Americans, including the disabled, elderly, and low-income children, depend on Medicaid for vital health care services. But waste, fraud, and abuse are pushing this program to the point of insolvency. According to one estimate, there were more than $1 trillion in improper payments over the last decade. To protect Medicaid for those who truly need it, this corruption must end, including by removing the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently exploiting the program. My amendment would close a loophole that allows illegal aliens to receive Medicaid coverage for up to 90 days by blocking federal taxpayer dollars from funding benefits for prospective beneficiaries until their citizenship or lawful presence is verified. I urge a yes vote on this amendment, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
In the Senate Democrats fought tooth and nail against that. Here it is. Overnight, Democrats voted against expanding Medicaid coverage for those with developed disabilities. Once again, they're putting politics over the most vulnerable.
Of attempting to. One Republican, however, Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, took to the floor overnight to blast Democrats, saying, in fact, they were the ones putting benefits at risk, with the Republican accusing Democrats of attempting to weaken his provision in the bill to expand Medicaid coverage for Americans with developmental disabilities.
Medicaid exists to serve our patients. I've heard a lot from my Democrat colleagues about cutting benefits. It's all a lie. They're about to vote to cut off important benefits for the most vulnerable among us. So I'm tired of the lectures. This is actually a provision that does it. They're about to vote no.
Okay, so now we're ending.
Senator Lisa Murkowski has flipped, and she was now a yes on the One Big Beautiful Bill. I wonder what happened there. Yeah, she's no fan of President Trump, meaning the GOP now has the votes to pass Trump's legislation, and we know that it passed. So, great news, but this this little tiff between Trump and Elon, yeah, interesting. Will he deport Elon Musk? I don't think so. I think it's all rhetoric. What do the rate proposed community notes say on this? Elon Musk has always been in favor of ending EV subsidies along with oil and gas subsidies. And they cite Forbes, Business Insider, and more. Elon Musk has always been in favor. So that's what the community notes are saying. But we'll find out soon enough. I don't think Trump's going to do anything. But yes, the applause is very welcome right now. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, this is not just another tax bill. It's a referendum on America's future. When the Council of Economic Advisors chairman warns of a $4 trillion tax bomb if it fails, when recession looms as the alternative, when even Lisa Murkowski flips to save the republic, you know the stakes. The establishment wanted this bill dead because it returns power to working Americans. It slashes their ability to confiscate your wealth. It destroys their leverage over your life. CNN's having a meltdown over Trump's fragrance line while ignoring that gas prices just hit their lowest 4th of July levels since 2021. That tells you everything. They'd rather mock than report how this bill will supercharge our economy. So here's the question. Should Republicans who voted against this historic tax cut, should they be primaried? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure you grab our new Next News swags. New shirts have just dropped. No escape from Alligator Alcatraz in our famous President Otto Penn t-shirt. People are loving it. Trigger a liberal today by visiting shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and support the Next News Network in the process. Okay, let's find out where we are. No super chats to speak of as of yet. No new members to welcome. So let's jump into our trivia answer. Oh, we got Tom B420 dropping $5. Thank you, Tom B. He's got thumbs up. America, America, America. Thank you for that. $5 in the jar. Right on time. And our trivia. If I press this button, what happens, Brian? Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if I press this magic button that Brian made. Here it is, the magic button. Hey, Ronald Reagan is the answer. And you guys got it right. That was my guess as well. Ronald Reagan and his Economic Recovery Tax Act slashed rates by 25% and sparked economic growth. Love it. Love it. Right on. Okay, we got another question for you as we roll into our next topic. Which infamous 1971 prison riot led to 43 deaths and major reform demands? Was it A, Attica Prison, B, San Quentin, C, Sing Sing, or D, Folsom Prison? Damn, that's the question. I'm just going to shot in the dark. I'm going to say B. San Quentin sounds about right. We're going to find out when we get back. You guys are saying it's Attica already. We'll find out who's right. Is it me? Is it you? I'm just guessing, though. So let's jump into our next topic of the evening here. We're talking about Alligator Alcatraz. Deep in the Florida Everglades, something unprecedented just emerged from the swamp, the literal swamp. In just 8 days, they built what California couldn't construct in 8 years. 30-foot walls, razor wire, armed guards, and a moat filled with nature's most efficient security system. Thousands of hungry alligators. And the president himself just toured this fortress, and what he said will send shockwaves through every sanctuary city in America. 3,000 beds, 0 escape routes, maximum security for the worst of the worst. Yes, they're calling it Alligator Alcatraz, and it's about to change everything about immigration enforcement. The first inmates are scheduled to arrive soon, and the message is clear. And the footage is incredible, so don't look away. And while Trump builds walls to protect America's borders, you can build walls against aging with collagen. Just as our border security declined under Biden, your body's collagen production drops dramatically after 40 by 1% every single year. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen in my smoothies. It rebuilds your body's infrastructure with 5 types of collagen from 4 premium sources. No clumping, no odor, just smooth blending in your morning routine. Unlike government promises, this actually delivers firmer skin, stronger joints, healthier hair, no GMOs, no artificial junk, just clean collagen support. Every order helps feed hungry children through nokidhungry.org. Visit the link in the description, healthwithgary.com, for 51% off, free shipping, and a 60-day guarantee. That's healthwithgary.com. Build your body's defense system today. Now, let's jump into this. I got a text message from Kara. She's a White House reporter, and she just filed this report with Lindell TV about Alligator Alcatraz. I said, yeah, I'll share it. We're going to show it on the show tonight. Let's see what people are saying with Kara.
They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz, a brand new migrant detention center rising out of the Florida swamp, surrounded not just by fences, but by the most brutal security system that nature has to offer. Out there, 50 miles from Miami, escape isn't just illegal, it's suicidal. We're talking alligators, American crocodiles, Burmese pythons, black bears, and yes, the critically endangered but very real Florida panther. If you try to run, you'd better be faster than a reptile and braver than a big cat.
The snakes are fast, but alligators are big. We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison. How to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%.
The Everglades surrounding Alligator Alcatraz are also crawling with danger, from swarms of bloodthirsty mosquitoes carrying deadly viruses like West Nile and dengue, to venomous spiders, fire ants, and disease-spreading ticks lurking in the underbrush. This facility sits on the old Dade Collier airstrip, repurposed with temporary tents to hold up to 5,000 migrants, many with criminal records. Governor DeSantis and Attorney General James Uthmir have praised it as a natural deterrent for illegal border crossings. Here is what President Trump had to say.
I mean, you don't always have land so beautiful and so secure. We have a lot of bodyguards and a lot of cops that are in the form of alligators. You don't have to pay them so much. But I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long. It will keep people where they're supposed to be. This is a very important thing.
Of course, not everyone is applauding. Liberal activist groups and international human rights monitors are already blasting the facility as inhumane, with some filing lawsuits to shut it down before the first detainee even arrives. They argue the swampy conditions and the threat of wild animals amount to cruel and unusual punishment. Supporters of Alligator Alcatraz say that unfortunately for illegal aliens, the only legal sanctuary in Florida is reserved for endangered crocodiles and panthers.
Do you think that alligators are going to be more like vicious than correctional officers, or?
I think it puts more fear into people, right. Yes.
Reporting for Lindell TV at the White House, I'm Kara Castronova.
Kara Castronova, Lindell TV, thank you for that. What is this? Barry Cunningham posted this. The first pick of the 2025 Alligator Alcatraz draft. Terrifying. Yeah, I think all the illegals are going to think twice. But there's no place to run. Dom Lucier, breaker of narratives, he was there at Alligator Alcatraz talking about the protesters that were sent from radical liberal organizations. Proud Boy leader Enrique Tarrio is getting bombarded. Detainees have been getting transported to the facility. Let's listen to what's going on here.
The media down to we're down at Alligator Alley right here, right outside the China entrance. We got a lot of people that's protesting. President Trump is getting ready to take off. Hopefully we get some footage of the gators later on. Things have been escalating. I heard that a woman recently got hit in the face. So they're pushing everyone down to a single file line down to the right. You got press and all the media down to the right. And everyone, just like I said before, waiting for President Trump to take off. and trying to de-escalate the situation. We're moving everyone down the single file line.
It's not part of us. You are not a part of our group. You are not a part of our group if you stay. Only people. Now. This is indigenous people. Let's go back and get some rules.
It looks like they've been bringing some of the migrants in. They've been bringing some of the migrants into this facility as well, it seems, so they have to clear up the roads to bring in some of our detainees. You see the water in the canal over to our right, where it got this infamous name, the Alligator Alley. So thankfully, we don't have any that's done popped up and giving us any surprise.
Please walk back. You choose to say you are not a part of our group. Thank you.
Yeah.
Respected organizers, please walk back. If you choose to stay, you are not a part of our group. Thank you. If we could all start walking, whoever is respected. Single file line. Security, please. People are close. Out of the roadway. Hey, we're not engaging. Hey, ho, you gotta stay off the road. Hey, ho, you got to stay off the road. Yes, and stay off the road. We actually agree on that one thing.
Looks like a lot of alligator food out there. Let's see. Roy Darkins, a Florida wildlife director, just went on CNN to say alligators are the real victims. Oh my goodness. What?
How much of a threat does this volatile environment pose to the detainees, and several thousand are going to be moved there, especially when considering this will be a tent city exposed to storms and potentially even hurricanes?
I think the storms are a real concern, but I'll say this, when it comes to the wildlife, I'm more concerned for the wildlife than the folks on the site. I've actually waded in the wetlands not far from that site myself.
Okay, so she values the wildlife over the detainees. I wasn't expecting that. Oh my goodness. I thought like these detainees were like, untouchable, sacred, individuals. But I guess it's really the wildlife.
On the site. I've actually waded in the wetlands not far from that site myself, waist deep in the water, no problem, wasn't attacked by alligators. The idea that these are vicious animals out to attack people is rather absurd, and I think it detracts from the important message, which is that this doesn't belong here. Floridians don't want it here, and it's wasteful and an incredible risk to our ecological resources.
Yeah, really? Is it that facility has been there for years with no impact. Let's hear here's Secretary Noem. People don't have to come here if they self-deport and go home.
People don't have to come here. If they self-deport and go home, they can come back legally. We will let them come back legally.
And there is a lot of self-deportation.
Yes. But if you wait and we bring you to this facility, you don't ever get to come back to America. You don't get the chance to come back and be an American again and work here. So people don't have to come.
DeSantis in the background. Hey, I want to say something. Here's POTUS talking about his relationship with Governor Ron DeSantis. Remember that primary? That was pretty brutal. Let's see.
How would you describe the relationship, and what future does Governor DeSantis have?
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9-9, because there might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's not 9. I think we have a 10.
What do you say? There's a couple wounds? Hang on.
9, because there might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's not 9. I think we have a 10. We get along great.
A couple of bitter wounds. Yeah, that primary was pretty rough, right? Let's see what else is going on. What? Biden wanted me here? President Trump?
Put them out in the hot. I think our viewers at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility, so if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here.
To be honest.
Or 72.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here. Okay, he wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here. That son of a bitch.
He called Biden the son of a bitch. He said, "Did you hear that?" Oh yes, I heard it. Now, of course, he's referencing the lawfare. They tried to imprison President Trump through the entire campaign. Here, listen. Let's listen closely.
You wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
Gotta love it, man. Here's more. What is your message to Governor Gavin Newsom from inside this facility?
Here and learn something. Proud of it.
Mr. President, Mr. Governor, what's your message to Governor Gavin Newsom inside of this facility?
Well, the first thing you should do is come here and learn something, because they don't do this. They don't know. They wouldn't know where to begin, and if they did, it would cost them 100 times more. So I would say he should call the governor and Christie, and I'm sure you'd give him because his state is a disaster, and he doesn't do this. We're proud of him.
Gavin Newsom. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, we got some more. POTUS and NOAA on the ground. Here's video of them arriving in the Everglades at Alligator Alcatraz. Here's President Trump remarking on the passing of the big, beautiful bill. Governor DeSantis by his side as he is touching down in Florida earlier today.
I think it's going to be the greatest bill ever passed, even for you as an example. Tremendous amount of homeland security. Oh, tremendous amount. It's going to keep the border secure because, we have it secure now, but we need to build more wall. I built almost 600 miles of wall. We need more wall. And all of that's covered in this bill. This bill is amazing for everybody. It's an amazing bill for Florida, too. Really great.
An amazing bill that we now know passed. Here's more. President Trump. It was meant more of as a joke, but the more I thought of it, what? What?
They were actually.
Is this a dream come true for you, sir?
I was thinking about that. I'm not saying it was meant more as a joke, but the more I thought of it, and they were serious. They were actually crocodiles. They were crocodiles from Africa. They are a step beyond. But no, that was really meant as a joke, but a lot of people liked it. A lot of people think we should do it, frankly.
Keep going down the line here. Here's President Trump talking about who's going into Alligator Alcatraz.
Still prioritizing going after the worst of the worst, or are you now arresting anyone who is here?
We're doing the worst of the worst always first. And I think it's great government, what we've done. And nobody can ever forget that this group of people, Biden or whoever it was, whoever it was, but this group of people, a small group that circled the Resolute desk, what they did to this country. Think of it, what you're trying, all the time you have to waste through this. It's an unforced error. We had no problem with this.
Called it an unforced error. I mean, they wouldn't need Alligator Alcatraz if Joe Biden just followed the law and locked down the border. But no, they need to import their voters. Okay, so another reporter asking about, is this the model? Is this the model going forward, Mr. President? Now, I mean, let's be serious. Not every state can have an Alligator Alcatraz. I don't think the climate would permit it in some parts of the country. But maybe there are adequate substitutes for alligators in other parts of the nation. But let's see what he has to say here.
And is this the model going forward, Mr. President?
It can be. I mean, you don't always have land so beautiful and so secure. There's a lot of bodyguards and a lot of cops that are in the form of alligators. You're not dependent so much. But I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long. We'll keep people where they're supposed to be. This is a very important thing. We're setting records at the board. We had no people do that. Zero, no people. But we're going to keep it that way. So Ron did great.
I think what's great about this thing is that there's a landing strip right there on premises so they can fly these people in, fly them out, and be done with them. Here we have more. This is the president. This looks like the gaggle he gave this morning as he was leaving for Alligator Alcatraz. President Trump heading before departing. These are his remarks.
And everybody, and I think it's going to be great. And then I'll be back here fighting for the bill, and I hear it's going okay. We'll move it along. But we'll be back here pretty early.
Now, I got the email on this, the presidential schedule. It's public record. I get it every morning, or actually every night. And I noticed that his departure was around like 7 a.m. from D.C., going down to Florida, and then he was back in D.C. by like 3 o'clock. I mean, like, it's crazy when you think about this guy's schedule and how much land, how far he's traversing to do these things. Leaving the White House in the morning, flying to Florida, checking it all out, inspecting Alligator Alcatraz, and then flying right back. Anyway, I just remember getting the email about his departure and arrival, and I thought how wild it was. But here's more from the departure. Marine One outside the White House.
Warning some Republicans not to go too crazy with the cuts. Are there parts of the bill or amendments that you think cut too much?
We're going to have to see the final version. I don't want to go too crazy with cuts. I don't like cuts. There are certain things that have been cut, which is good. I think we're doing well. We're going to have to see. It's very complicated stuff. Great enthusiasm, as you know. And I think in the end, we're going to have it. What do you think, Caroline? Yeah, I think it is.
And, of course, the bill did pass. Let's see what else we've got here. Here's Benny Johnson arriving at Alligator Alcatraz. He says, check out the Jurassic Park-style entrance. 30-foot walls, razor wire, armed guards. None of this existed a week ago. Insanity impressive from the state of Florida. Mosquitoes swarming me by the thousands, millions of gators, hell on earth.
Shoulder is the action. Well, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Alligator Alcatraz. The entrance here is a 30-foot tall wall. None of this was here 5 days ago. It's got razor wire on the top. Just unbelievably impressive what the state of Florida has done here. Over my shoulder is the actual facility. As you can see, we'll be entering soon. This is the entry gate for Alligator Alcatraz. Got mosquitoes everywhere. They're like playing. There you go. Look at that. Not a fun place to be put in prison. You do not want to go here. Obviously, this is going to be a 5,000-bed federal facility. President Trump will be here soon. I'm getting swarmed by mosquitoes right now, and we saw at least 30 alligators on our way in driving. It is in the middle of truly nowhere. It took us an hour, 4-hour drive to get here today. It's crazy. Look at that. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. As far as the eye can see, you go in, you don't come out. And if you do...
Let's see what else we've got here. Here's more from Benny Johnson. He says, I don't think anyone realizes how impressive Alligator Alcatraz is. Now what you're seeing here, this is the tent, basically like a tent city they just erected. It is air conditioned. And look they just put all those beds and fences. I mean, it's ready to go. Unreal footage right there. Okay, I think we got some more on this too. There was a press conference as well. Let's see if we can pull up some of that. Here's Byron Donalds talking about the construction, calling it a logistical marvel.
The deport. First of all, Mr. President, we all have to thank you for your leadership and for the mandate that the American people gave you to finally secure our borders and to deport criminal illegal aliens and longstanding illegal aliens out of the United States. That is a mandate given to you by the American people. I know Secretary Noem, Stephen Miller, Governor DeSantis, myself, on behalf of the other members of Congress in the Senate, and of course here in Florida, we are behind you 100% in that mission. To the governor, I really appreciate you and commend you for your leadership on this, taking swift, decisive action to building this facility. One of the things that has occurred because of the work you did earlier this year with the legislature is that our sheriffs are out there every single day. They are arresting these criminal aliens in our streets, and they're seeing some backlog in their jails. So this facility primarily goes to address some of that backlog and then to help us fulfill the mission that the president has led us to. So, Governor, thank you for your leadership and thank you for your decisive action on this. It really does mean a lot to all the people of Florida, of course, the people of the 19th Congressional District. Secretary Noem, I mean, what can I say? The president's right. You're double tough. So we appreciate all your leadership. You and Tom Homan have been doing a great job. And I'm actually going back to D.C. after this because we have to vote on one big, beautiful bill in the House. We have to get that to the president's desk so we can get you the resources that you need to fulfill the mission that the American people have asked us to do. I totally agree with what Mr. Guthrie has said. This is a logistical marvel when something like this occurs. We've seen Florida Department of Emergency Management answer the bell time and time again. The governor has said we need to accomplish this, and DEM gets that job done. And we had a side conversation about, I know there were some concerns. People were like, well, what happens if a hurricane comes? What happens if this happens? And I looked at Kevin Guthrie and I said, you already have a plan, don't you? And he goes, of course we have a plan. You know that we do. This is what Florida does, Mr. President. And so I want to commend you for your leadership and your vision on this. Governor, thank you for all that you've done with your vision and determination. Secretary Noem, we're going to get the bill done so you get the resources you need. See you, sir.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome. Great words there from Byron Donalds. And here we have, this is Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons.
And Undersecretary. Sir, just first on behalf of the men and women of ICE, we just want to thank you for allowing us to do our job again. You know, your vision and Undersecretary Noem's leadership, this is what the American people want. And I hope that you see great results of what we're doing out there every day, getting the worst of the worst out of our communities. Because of you and Secretary Noem, I have the privilege to lead one of the most premier and the finest law enforcement agencies that we do have in the United States. And the men and women of HSI and ERO Miami do incredible work like you highlighted. And with the governor in the state of Florida, the partnership in Florida has been amazing. The 287G program is only going to help us to identify all those known gotaways and get the worst of the worst out of the neighborhoods. And through our Homeland Security Task Force, we are going to make America safe again. So thank you very much to both you and the Secretary.
Yeah, man. Accolades around. Here's Stephen Miller, one of my favorite members of the administration. Let's see what he has to say. I love this guy. Stephen Miller, man, this guy is just, I love him.
Open dream of. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say on a personal note, getting to watch what you've done over the last 5 months to deliver on a 50-year hope and dream of the American people to secure the border. When President Trump came into office on January 20th, the United States had endured the largest wave of illegal immigration in human history. Not just American history, human history. And within just a few days, President Trump, through his strength, leadership, diplomacy, and vision, achieved the most secure border anyone in the world has ever seen. When we recently went overseas to the NATO summit, I had senior staff in foreign governments come up to me and ask me how he achieved the Trump miracle on his border, and could that be replicated in their countries. For individuals who don't work in this space, to have 0 successful illegal entries in an entire month should be an impossible achievement. There's a 2,000-mile border with one of the poorest countries in the world, and you have open travel from 150 countries into Central America and South America. There are 2 billion people in the world that would economically benefit from illegally coming to the United States. And through the deployment of the military, through the deployment of novel legal and diplomatic tools, through the building of physical infrastructure, through the empowering of ICE and Border Patrol and the entire federal law enforcement apparatus, President Trump achieved absolute border security. And now, once this legislation is passed, he will be able to make that with those resources permanent. Watching what you've done, sir, has been one of the honors of a lifetime. I'm proud to be able to play any role in it. And what President Trump is going to achieve next with the resources in this bill will make America safer, stronger, freer, more sovereign, and more prosperous than it's ever been before. Thank you, sir.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Alligator Alcatraz represents more than a detention center. It's a declaration of war on Biden's open border catastrophe. When Florida builds a 3,000-bed fortress in 8 days while California can't fix a pothole in 8 months, that's not incompetence. That's the difference between patriots and politicians, and Trump nailed it. Those alligators are better security than anything Washington ever designed. Governor DeSantis and Secretary Noem just showed every blue state how real leaders operate. No committees, no environmental impact studies, just action. The message to criminal aliens is crystal clear. Florida doesn't play games. You run from ICE here, you're gator bait. And this facility proves that we can secure our nation when we have the will. So here's my question. Should every border state build their own Alligator Alcatraz? Just drop a yes or no, sound off below. And you can support this show. You want to get your own Alligator Alcatraz t-shirt, you can see it right there on the screen. Yeah, no escape. Or if you want to support President Autopen, you can get one of those shirts. Trigger a liberal today at the Next News merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and support our work here. All right. Let's see. Michelle Glass. Mainstream media lost a great journalist, and we gained N3. $5 from Michelle. Thank you for those kind words. Mainstream media lost a great journalist, and we gained N3. Yes, you certainly did. I'm here to serve you. I like bourbon a lot. Did you know that? That's the name of our next super chatter, who said, Alligator Alcatraz, whoever's idea this was, needs a raise. Well, thank you for giving us a raise here at the Next News Network with that $5. And we'll put that in the jar. I like bourbon a lot. Oh, man. I love a good bourbon. Aged, double oaked. A little bit of ice. That's what I like. Oh, Michelle Glass is back. And Michelle says, I really like Mr. Miller too. And I just want to say to the chat, I love you guys, and I mean it. Michelle Glass loves you guys, loves Stephen Miller, and loves the Next News Network. And that's why Michelle decided to drop $5. And she's currently ranked number 2 in the leaderboard in the top fans in the chat room. That's a new feature. I will explore that just briefly here. Let's see, top fans right now. Doesn't show me who the top fans are. What's top chat say? No. On my mobile device, it actually shows it, but for some reason it does not show it here. Viewer activity. Let's see what it says here. Any viewer activity? Does it show that? Because I want to be able to acknowledge the folks who are, doing the work in the chat room. Love you guys for it. Okay, so I'm going to refresh my page here, and then we're going to get to the answer. And let's see, what did you guys say? What did you guys say in the chat room for the poll? Attica Prison came in at 49%, and that was, in fact, the answer. So well done. And I was wrong. And we lost our camera. Perfect timing for losing the camera. The camera will return momentarily. There it is. Back in action. Super zoomed out. Thank you, Brian, for getting that squared away. At least it happened now. I'm not sure why it keeps doing that. I'm going to have to send a message to support to figure out the answer. But I got the answer wrong on our trivia question. I said B, but it was in fact A. You guys did it. The Attica prison uprising exposed brutal conditions and sparked nationwide prison reform movements. Okay, let's go and take a look at our next trivia question. What 1986 law granted amnesty to 3 million illegal immigrants? 1986, well, That would have to be during the Reagan administration. I think we've had this trivia question before. I believe it's B, Immigration Reform and Control Act. That's my guess. But you guys can guess yourself. Is it A, the DREAM Act, B, Immigration Reform and Control Act, C, the Secure Fence Act, or D, the Patriot Act? Definitely not the Patriot Act. All right, moving right along into our next topic of the evening. Let's see what's going on with the ICE raids. Lots of news here. Let's find out. ICE striking back. CNN just committed a federal crime on live television. They're promoting an app designed to help criminals escape law enforcement. Tom Homan is demanding investigations. Pam Bondi is suing sanctuary cities. Antifa thugs are attacking Trump supporters at ICE facilities in Allegheny County. An illegal alien was just caught luring 5 children while impersonating a cop. The gloves are off, though. The raids have begun from Los Angeles to Chicago. White liberal women are literally running around Home Depots trying to interfere with federal operations. But there's no stopping what's coming. The deportation wave Trump promised is here, and the left is in complete meltdown mode. The evidence will shock you, so keep on watching. And just like ICE agents are working to restore order to our borders, American bees are working to maintain nature's delicate balance. But Big Pharma and chemical companies are destroying bee populations with toxic pesticides, threatening our entire food supply. That's why Patriot Bee Best exists, to educate patriots about this crisis. These American veterans have created a digital sanctuary for bee education and restoration. For less than 17 cents a day, you can support both this show and save American bees. Learn how honeybees benefit our food chain. Discover bee-friendly initiatives and join the restoration movement. Just as we're fighting to save our borders, we must fight to save our bees. Visit patriotbeebest.com and use code NEXTNEWS for 25% off. Join the Hive today. All right, let's jump into President Trump's remarks. Secretary Noem was pissed. And she did it right on camera with President Trump slamming CNN for pushing the app. It's called ICE. What is it called? ICE Block.
CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that. That's obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with the partnership of PAM if we can, because what they're doing, we believe, is illegal.
CNN, what they're doing is illegal. Here's President Trump discussing deportations.
Take a long period of time. We're going to have a lot.
Now, this is on Air Force One, a gaggle. You can see Caroline Leavitt in the background. I love these moments.
Long period of time. We're going to have a lot of angst because it's a tough thing. But no, I think they're doing an amazing job. And we're doing a lot of home deportations. We're doing a lot of deportations or self-deportations where they come in and they deport and then they want to come back into the country. And they can only come back into the country under no circumstances unless they go out the proper way. Otherwise, they're never coming back in. No, I think it's going very well. Look, Biden did us a tremendous disservice when he allowed this to happen to our country. And I always said it's the toughest thing. I had inflation and I got rid of it. We don't have inflation. I had a bad economy and we set a new stock market high today. And we're doing unbelievable. The country is doing unbelievable. I always said the most difficult thing is what happened at the border, allowing 21 or 25 million people to come into our country. It's the most difficult thing. It's a very hard thing. I think we're doing a fantastic job at getting them out. But you have a lot of self-deporting, a lot more than people understand. Well,
keep up the great work, Mr. President. Here we have this. Wow. Now, assaults against ICE agents are 700%. Last time we reported on this was 400%. Let's check out this.
It's an important one, Will. A scary jump in the number of attacks on ICE agents, as they, of course, have been ramping up enforcement efforts under President Trump. DHS telling Fox today that assaults are up nearly 700%. There were 10 assaults from January through June last year. This year, 79 assaults. And to think some Democrats are throwing a fit over agents using face coverings as they arrest criminal illegal immigrants. Some say immigrants, I say aliens. Go figure. Next up, President Trump says...
Wow. Let's check out what's happening in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania on Sunday. Everantio Sotaro Arlana was arrested for 5 counts of luring a child as well as impersonating a police officer. What? Originally, he said he was from Honduras, then became hostile and said he was Mexican. Okay.
For the money to come in. 40-year-old Everantonio Soreto Orellana is currently facing several charges after Wilkinsburg police say he impersonated a police officer and tried to lure a group of kids into a home. A scary situation for 5 children in Wilkinsburg. Investigators say on Sunday the kids were riding bikes near Center Street when a man now identified as Soreto Orellana approached the group. He allegedly offered them money to come inside a home with him. Now, according to that criminal complaint, when the kids tried to get away, he started chasing them and said he was a police officer, ordering them to stop. The children's mother called police and identified the home and man with the help of the kids. Court documents reveal when officers arrived at the home, Soreto Orellana said he was from Honduras and started to get aggressive with officers, telling them to leave. Once investigators got him into the patrol car, police say he got hostile, saying he was Mexican and came to the United States 2 days ago. He's now charged with multiple counts of luring children and impersonating a police officer. A judge did deny his bail, saying that he's a flight risk and a risk to public safety. He's currently in the Allegheny County Jail.
And maybe he should go to Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, I think so. Let's see what we have here. We got a Fox report. Vernon T. Ranch says we're a nation of laws. When people break those laws, there need to be consequences. CNN's promoting an app that will alert people when ICE is in their area. How is this not interfering with government operations? It is. It clearly is. Let's see what Fox is saying.
ICE says assaults on agents are up over 500% this year. But instead of protecting the brave men and women working for ICE, CNN is out with this. An article touting a brand new app that alerts people of ICE sightings in their area.
Yeah, we covered that yesterday. Disgusting. Here's more. Antifa versus Rain D. Amaker at the ICE facility in Portland. Trump supporter assaulted and has Trump hat ripped off his head by Antifa.
You're not protesting, bitch.
You need to fucking go. That makes you a fucking threat. You need to fucking go.
Leave.
No, we don't.
Leave. You want me to blow vape smoke in your face repeatedly again or skip around you again? I'll do it.
We don't care.
You can do that if you want.
We don't care. We don't care. Go. We don't care.
I'm protesting.
We don't care. We don't care.
You're not protesting, bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
Go.
You come in and you put hands on people. You're fucking violent.
Did you finally get your compression socks I was telling you?
And we don't want your violence here. We're fighting against violence. Nobody cares.
Is a cop your brother? Are you a cop's brother?
Who?
Are you related to a police officer?
No, I'm not. Okay.
Because a lot of times people
get the fuck go home.
Do you own the sidewalk?
Go home. I will tell you what to do because we don't fuck with you.
Eyes. I don't fuck with you.
Fuck eyes. Fuck Trump. Fuck Vance.
Fuck eyes. Go home.
Why do you want to be here? Go away. He's just.
It isn't. It is actually.
Get the fuck out of here!
I have a question.
No, get the fuck out!
Guys, where if you took 2 inches off his dick, you'd have a fight.
I'm not a long distance runner. You're not a long distance runner? Okay, for sure. Yeah.
You literally tried to fuck. Go.
I saw that going my way.
Fucking try. Don't even fucking.
2 inches off his dick, you'd have a fight.
I'm not a long distance runner. You're not a long distance runner? Okay, for sure. Yeah.
You literally tried to fuck. Go.
I saw that going my way.
Fucking try. Don't even fucking try. I swear to fucking God.
Dude, no.
I swear to fucking God.
I will light your fucking hat on fire while it's on your head.
Go. Really?
Go. Go home.
I don't have to.
Yes, you do.
No, who says who?
I say, no one fucking wants you here. You're not protesting here for the wrong. If you want to be here, go clock in. Go clock in.
So we're
Go
going to
clock
assume
in
that you're
then.
here for violent intent.
No, I'm not here for violence.
Yes, we are. We are going to assume that.
Come on. No, we did not.
Yes, you fucking did. I have it on video, motherfucker.
Why would they go and hit you?
You hit a woman that is here. I'm not fucking telling you. It doesn't matter to you. After
You're on
it was
video
nights
doing it. That's what fucking
after
matters.
you assaulted 3 fucking protesters, then pushed a woman, and then tried to lunge at me 3
So
fucking
you
times.
have
So fucking go home.
That's
Yeah,
recorded.
he shows up every fucking night. He shows up every fucking night.
Enough of these people. Send them to Alligator Alcatraz. Here's Tom Homan going scorched earth on CNN for promoting the app to track ICE agents.
House is calling out CNN and that ICE spotting app that shows agents' locations on a map. Watch this, please.
There's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding, certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
But Tom Homan, the question is, does that app interfere with deportations? And if so, what do you do about it?
Absolutely it does, and it angers me. Look, I've been doing this since 1984, Stuart. I've been doing this longer than anybody around here. And I just can't believe we're in a place where, you know, a TV network like CNN is talking about this app and educating people on the existence of this app. ICE law enforcement officers, like I said earlier, they are concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This is a dangerous job. And this app is going to give the bad guy heads up that we're coming, which means more bad guys are going to escape arrest, which makes this country less safe, which is a public safety issue. And on top of that, it's only a matter of time for a bad guy, which is like someone who threw a Molotov cocktail at officers in L.A., who the assaults against ICE officers up over 500%. It's a matter of time before someone uses this app and ambushes ICE officers. This is something we cannot tolerate, we can't stand for, so we're calling them out, and I'm begging the Department of Justice to look into this and hold people accountable. This puts ICE officers at great risk. We're at a place in time where the Democrats are vilifying ICE as racist and Nazis. And on top of this app, I'm scared to death for the ICE officers who go out there every day, put their lives on the line. Something needs to be done. I'm begging DOJ to look in this, take some action.
Tom Homan, thank you very much for being on the show today. Hope we can
take the app offline right away. What do we have here? Walter Kurt. There's a very simple reason the Democrats are shedding support. It isn't merely their ruinous policies, nor the plastic smile stretched over every talking point. They simply cannot and will not cheer when America wins. What's this?
If you want to know why the Democrats are so unpopular, all you have to do is listen to them.
You know, border crossings are at a record low. Do you give the Trump administration some credit for that? And are you, when you look at those figures, do you think things are moving in the right direction, at least in that regard, Senator?
No, I don't give them credit for that because border crossings are low because they're violating the law every day. So we have a law in this country that says if you are fleeing terror...
They're violating the law. Who's violating the law? ICE agents are violating the law? You're coming here illegally. You're violating the law.
No, I don't give them credit for that because border crossings are low because they're violating the law every day. So we have a law in this country that says if you are fleeing terror or torture from another country, you can come here and apply for asylum. The Trump administration has suspended that law. They are not allowing anybody to come here to apply for asylum. We wrote that bipartisan bill last year to reform the asylum process, to make sure that only the right people are coming in and that we judge those cases expeditiously at the border. So it's true, there are very few people crossing on a daily basis, but that's because the Trump administration is violating the law, and it should matter to every American that on so many facets, the Trump administration doesn't care about the law.
No matter what they say, the problem...
His face says it all. I'm feeling the same way, buddy. That's for sure. Let's keep going. We got more here. Okay, more from Tom Homan. Concentrating on public safety threats.
Collaterals that, no, we are concentrating on public safety threats and not security threats. But then again, like I said, when we're out looking for the criminals, many times we find collaterals. Collaterals that, that are arrested because they're in sanctuary jurisdictions. Most of the collaterals are arrested in sanctuary jurisdictions, Stuart, because we're forced into the neighborhood. They don't give us access to a bad guy in the county jail. But I've said from day one, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. I mean, it's not okay to enter this country illegally. It is a crime. It's not okay to knowingly hurt an illegal alien, because no one hires an illegal alien on the goodness of their heart. They hire them because they work them harder, pay them less, and undercut their competition who has U.S. citizen employees, and it drives down labor rates. So, we're focusing on the worst of the worst, but if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. We're going to force the laws without apology. We need to send a message to the whole world. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's not okay to ignore a judge's order. Most of the non-criminals we're looking for, we have a final order removal issued by a federal immigration judge. If those orders don't mean anything, we don't execute, then what the hell are we doing? Just shut down immigration court doesn't mean anything anymore. Take the border patrol off the border, because the message we're sending to the whole world is, go ahead and enter the country illegally. It's a crime, but don't worry about it. As long as you don't commit another crime after being here, you're off the table. But that's not the message we got to send the whole world, because you'll never fix the system doing it that way.
And that's what they're doing. They're fixing the system every single day. Here is Pam Bondi. She says it ends now, unleashing federal crackdown on sanctuary cities. Los Angeles, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Colorado, Minnesota, and she's suing them all. Let's listen.
The cause of, in Los Angeles, what LA was doing, and we also sued Karen Bass, the mayor, directly. What they were doing is they were prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens, and you cannot do that. These sanctuary policies are the root of the cause of violent crime in our country, in LA. We saw it with the riots. We had to send out DEA, FBI, ATF, our U.S. Marshals, jeopardize their safety to help enforce the laws of Los Angeles. We are not going to protect illegal aliens over Americans. No longer. It's stopped. We have sued New York, Illinois, Colorado, New Jersey, and now we've sued Los Angeles, and we will continue to sue you if you do not follow the laws of our country. Obviously, our ICE agents, all of our federal agents who are working hand in hand on these task forces, our federal agents from the Justice Department could be injured. He's giving a message to criminals where our federal officers are, and he cannot do that. And we are looking at it. We are looking at him, and he better watch out, because that's not a protected speech. That is threatening the lives of our law enforcement officers throughout this country. And shame on CNN. I just saw that for the first time when you showed it, that they're promoting that app. That's shame on them for doing that. That could hurt our law enforcement officers who are out there protecting them, protecting all of us every single day. In Los Angeles.
Yeah, CNN, shame on them. What is this? Even with all this happened, the number of illegals coming across the border and an increase in crime committed by illegals, this guy thinks this was all a good thing, and he did a good job. Thank you, Brandon Gill, for exposing people like him. Oh, let's listen.
Got it. So you've got a lot of experience. You were chief of staff for ICE, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What years were you there?
2021 to 2023.
So that was during the Biden administration, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. So presumably you're well-versed in border security and immigration enforcement, is that right?
Yes, sir. I would say that I'm very aware. I also worked at CBP under the Obama administration. Yes, sir.
Got it. So you've got a lot of experience there. I'm going to ask you a few questions. In an interview with the Daily Blast on February 28th, 2024, you mentioned, quote, "You can't deter and punish your way to lowering encounters at the border," end quote. Do you think you were right or wrong about that?
100%, sir. What we've seen...
100% what? Right or wrong?
100% I was correct.
You were correct about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The idea that you just dismantle an immigration system is not... There was a mandate to the Trump administration.
Illegal alien border encounters are down 95% right now. I think you were wrong about that. You also said, quote, "The idea that you can turn off the border is just not factual." Do you think that was right or wrong?
Sir, the threats that we're still seeing across the border...
Do you think you were right or wrong about that statement?
What's that, sir?
My question is, were you right or wrong about that statement?
When you
That
turn
can
off
just
the
turn off
immigration
border?
system, sir, yes, you will not see encounters. Yes.
Well, southwestern border encounters are at a 15-year low under President Trump. Another thing that you mentioned, quote, just shutting off the border to asylum seekers is not going to do that, meaning close the border. What I think is going to do that is make it more erratic and sporadic for the sort of large surges of migrants you would see coming across the border. Do you think that was right or wrong?
100% correct. It was correct, sir. We're going to see that over the next couple years.
Border apprehensions are down now because President Trump has secured our border. He's stopped the flow of illegal aliens coming across our border and coming to our border. Do you think that we have a better or worse border situation now than we did under Joe Biden?
Sir, I believe the border is secure.
You believe the border is secure. That's right. But you were wrong about a lot of other things, about what would secure the border. Is that right?
No, sir. It's only been 100 days.
You were wrong about what it would take to stop the flow of illegal aliens coming into the United States. You were wrong that secure enforcement that we're seeing under President Trump would stop the flow of illegal aliens. You ought to keep that in mind as you're going to the media and mouthing off about the president.
Can I answer that question?
Let me ask you another question. This is from a New York Times op-ed that you wrote just a month ago.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned, quote, federal law enforcement under President Trump is engaged in dangerous political theater. What about President Trump's law enforcement do you think is dangerous political theater? Do you think that seizing 235,000 pounds of fentanyl at the border is dangerous political theater?
Is a problem.
Do you think seizing fentanyl at our border is dangerous political theater? Do you know who Gilberto Avila Jara is?
So that's exactly where ICE should have their resources focused. That's exactly what
and
this
we did.
administration
And he
is
was
beginning to
arrested
turn them away
last
from.
month and charged with over 20 sex crimes against minors.
Yes, sir.
These were the kind of people that Joe Biden
2,000
and
CBP
under your
officers
leadership
off the border
were coming into
over the
our
next
country.
3 months doesn't make us more safe. Taking HSI agents away from drug interdiction, and
taking murderers and rapists off our streets makes the American people more safe. It's your testimony that taking murderers and rapists off our streets does not make us more safe.
What I'm saying,
is that what
sir,
you're telling me?
what we have heard from this administration is over the next few months, there's going to be thousands of law enforcement focused on non-criminal migrants.
We'll see. You were wrong about a lot of things. I don't put a whole lot of stock into that, candidly, and I don't think the American people do either. Do you support amnesty?
No, sir.
Do you support amnesty for illegal aliens?
No, sir.
In this New York Times article, you wrote, quote, that means that the best solution for public safety is not mass deportations.
No,
it's giving undocumented I'm speaking right now. This is my time, not yours. I'm speaking. It's giving undocumented immigrants who have been in the United States for a long time the opportunity to come forward, pay a fine, and gain legal status. That sounds a lot like amnesty to me, doesn't it, to you?
It's a process, sir, under the law that could exercise and allow them for migrants to come out of the shadows and then focus.
That's what amnesty is. This is a deliberate semantic obfuscation, and you know it, and I know it, and the American people know it as well. Do you think that illegal aliens should be given welfare once they get amnesty?
Sir, that's not my department.
You've got a lot of opinions on a whole lot of different things. You don't have an opinion on that?
Areas where I've worked for 20 years, sir. Yes, sir.
And finally, let me ask you, do you think that Biden was successful at stopping illegal immigration?
There was failures at the beginning of the Biden administration to deal with the flow of migrants post-COVID, and then there was failures of implementation of policies across all of the immigration system. That's the same problems we're seeing now. The idea that you can enforce your way out of immigration and the challenges that we see across the Western Hemisphere, it's not going to work.
We had an open border under Biden. The border's secure now. I think that's a successful Trump policy and a failure of the Biden administration.
He said you can't enforce your way out of immigration. Really? That's exactly what's happening. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, the scam is over. What one patriot posted is liberal activists panic outside Home Depots, desperately trying to save their cheap labor pipeline. When CNN promotes criminal evasion apps, when Antifa attacks ICE facilities, when sanctuary cities prioritize illegals over Americans, that's not compassion. That's treason. Tom Homan laid it out perfectly. If you're here illegally, you're not off the table. Pam Bondi's federal crackdown on sanctuary cities from LA to Minneapolis sends a clear message. Obstruction has consequences. Every American victimized by an illegal alien, every job stolen, every tax dollar wasted on criminal harboring, it all ends now. The Allegheny County predator posing as a cop to lure children, he claimed to be from Honduras and then Mexico. These are the people that Democrats protect. So here's the question. Should CNN face criminal charges for helping illegals evade ICE? Drop a yes or no in the comments below. And if you want to send some illegals down to Alligator Alcatraz, grab a shirt, support the effort at the merch shop, and trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. You can grab yours at the link in the description. Okay, where are we at now? Let's see. Any super chats to speak of? Not at the moment, but maybe there will be some more. We're at $35. Patricia Duff. Heck yes, gummy worms acquired. What? Gummy worms. Pothead Kenny. Love my hat. Love my shirt. Thank you. Okay, let's find out the answer to our trivia question. I pressed the magic button. You guys said it was A, the DREAM Act. Nope, it was actually B, Immigration Reform and Control Act. Reagan signed it, later calling it his biggest mistake. That's what I said. I said it was B.
How dare you?
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Now, where are we going from here? Well, we're going to find out, because this next story is explosive. Do not turn away from what we are about to reveal. Okay? But first, our trivia question. Which vaccine maker made $1.3 billion in 2009 for doing that to 14,500 patients? They paid $1.3 billion. Was it A, Johnson & Johnson, B, Pfizer, C, Merck, or D, Eli Lilly? I don't know about this one. You know what? Maybe it was Johnson & Johnson. I don't know. I'll let you guys have it out in the comments, in the chat, and the poll. The poll's up. Tom B420, currently number one on the leaderboard, dropping $5 in the jar. Thank you, Tom B, for that. Much appreciated. $5 in the jar. And he's giving a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And there is his killer Camaro. Beautiful car. Okay, now, this is something that you guys need to pay very close attention to. All right? A whistleblower just risked everything to expose the most sinister plot in American medical history. The Biotechnology Innovation Organization, backed by Pfizer, Merck, and Novavax, held a secret meeting on April 3rd, and their target, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., their budget, $2 million. Their timeline, he must be destroyed by September. The leaked minutes reveal their desperation. Investors are fleeing. Their profit model is collapsing. Kennedy's demand for real safety testing and restored liability threatens their entire enterprise. They're recruiting senators, think tanks, even conservative influencers and media puppets to execute their plan. But they made one fatal mistake. They put it all in writing, and now we have the receipts. Do not look away, but make sure you share this report. And while Big Pharma plots to silence RFK Jr., they're already targeting your children with propaganda disguised as education. And that is why the Tuttle Twins created content that teaches kids to think critically about health freedom. Look at this headline. Can you see it here? It says, "The Science of Fear." Okay? Your kids will learn about health freedom, medical choice, and corporate corruption. Their monthly magazine explains how crony capitalism works, like when pharmaceutical giants spend millions lobbying instead of improving products. Don't let your children become mindless consumers of whatever Big Pharma pushes. Teach them to question authority, understand their rights, and recognize propaganda. subscribe a family member, a grandchild, a niece, or a nephew, your kids. It's only $56 a year, and it will give a gift in their mailbox every single month. Go to TuttleTwins.com/next. It's linked down below. While RFK Jr. fights for medical freedom at the federal level, you can fight it in your own home. Arm your kids with the truth today. So, this is a big story. A friend of mine sent it to me this morning, and I was just blown away. Posted a thread on X. It's going viral. Roger Stone just quote tweeted it moments ago, and you can see what Roger Stone posted. He says, "I stand with Robert Kennedy Jr. and his efforts to make America healthy again. This big pharma plot to undermine him is now fully exposed." Quote tweeting our very thread. Now I'm going to go through the thread. The thread's going to give you sort of the cliff notes of it. But then after the thread, I'm going to go into the actual article that was written. It goes into much greater detail. So stick around for the whole report and get the full spectrum picture. You can also go to our X account and you can read it there. You can get the link and you can dive in even deeper than we're about to go. So let's dive in. Big Pharma's war on RFK now exposed. A leaked memo from Pfizer, Merck, and Novavax reveals a covert $2 million campaign to sabotage RFK Jr. by September. This is not science. It's psychological warfare, influence ops, and institutional capture. The plot to get RFK now exposed. Keep reading because it is a coup. Strategic coup. Leaked bio minutes show their vaccine policy steering committee met April 3rd to plan RFK Jr.'s removal. Their words, "It's time to go to the Hill and lobby that it is time for RFK Jr. to go." So this is a lobbying effort. But they have a massive plan, and they have a lot of politicians in their pocket already. Here is just a snapshot of the meeting minutes. You can read it in detail. Go to X, but we're going to dive deeper. Follow the money. Bio is dumping half of its $4 million reserve, $2 million, into a manipulative DC campaign titled "Why We Vaccinate." It's not to inform, it's to control. And their goal is to influence the movable middle through fear-based messaging. Their words inspire and frighten. This is the pharma psyop. The surrogates. Bio plans to co-opt conservatives to make the attacks look bipartisan. The named allies, Dr. Oz, Senator Bill Cassidy, Richard Burr, AEI, and Oz as White House health voice of reason. The strategy, divide Macri and Trump insiders versus RFK Jr., and they want to confuse the base. Fear of reform. RFK Jr.'s Kennedy Bar demands raw data, liability restoration, and placebo trials. Bio calls that a threat to their business model. Why? Because it would end the emergency shortcuts that have been abused since Warp Speed. This is about power and not safety. The capital collapse of the industry. Vaxcyte's COO says investors are sitting out for 6 to 9 months because of Kennedy's unpredictability. They admit it. The market fears transparency. Bio's panic. Reform means no more guaranteed profits on untested products. Language hijack. Bio wants to swap words like protect and defend with streamline and optimize. Translation, less oversight. Transparency becomes PR spin. Efficiency means dodging safety rules. They're laundering meaning to deceive you. Propaganda by proxy. No direct debate, no public rebuttal, just a flood of industry-paid surrogate voices, controlled experts, think tanks, and influencers. The memo lays it bare. Distract the public, ignore RFK's policies, and erase his credibility. The memo. Dangerous stuff. September's D-Day for them. Why the rush? Because in September, schools reopen, Congress reconvenes, FDA budgets are reviewed, fall narrative cycle begins, and Bio fears that Kennedy's reform message will dominate the discourse, so they must preempt the truth. It is global. Bio's memo fits a wider scheme: ESG score enforcement, WHO treaty harmonization, and AI censorship to suppress dissent. This is not just domestic meddling, it is transnational efforts to kill sovereignty and science. AEI's Scott Gottlieb calls RFK's Maha platform a cover for anti-vaxxers, but they don't argue facts, they deny your right to question. Bio fears the public awakening not because RFK is wrong, but because he's exposing the regime. It's truth versus tyranny. It's not about Kennedy, it's about whether medicine serves the people or Pfizer's shareholders. Bio's smear campaign is not strength, it is a confession. They can't win with truth, so they weaponize fear, language, and fake consent. The memo is real, and the coup is active. Now, Congress is back, so tell your senators that you know about the biopharma scheme. Demand they keep RFK Jr. in office to make America healthy again. Of course, follow the Next News Network because the fight is only getting started. Now, I screen capped the actual memos from the article I'm about to share with you. So again, if you want to go and you want to read this, this is the leaked memo. The Policy Steering Committee at the VPSC meeting April 3rd. Talking about political landscape, strategic voices, and allies. I see right there. Dr. Oz seen as a potential voice of reason. Senator Cassidy emerging as an influential advocate. AEI and former Senator Richard Burr seen as important conservative ally in advocacy. Okay? I mean, investor and market challenges. These are the meeting minutes. Okay? Just scroll through it. When you go to the X profile, you'll see it for yourself. New co-chairs, diversifying input to include conservative voices. Do you hear this? The American Enterprise Institute, Richard Burr, advisor of the DLA Piper Health Policy Steering Committee. Strategy, protecting continuity and viability of the business. It's time to go to the Hill and lobby that it's time for RFK Jr. to go. Communicate what's going on in business. Trump owed RFK Jr. for his support, but that loyalty may not last. There are now definitive examples of RFK Jr.'s threat to their business and their claim of public health. If companies lose the confidence of investors, everyone loses. Really? So, this is page 2. Here's page 3. The FDA needs to stay strong. Need a creative communication campaign. Creative, right? Legislators and influencers as opposed to directly with RFK Jr. Conservative constituents. Unions. Campaign needs to both inspire and frighten potential outcomes. I mean, these are their meeting minutes. Maha movement is a cover right there. It is a cover for the campaign. I can't believe that this all got out. Dr. Oz can be public health voice of reason. Senator Cassidy is getting more involved regarding CDC. Recommend convening a Senate Public Health Caucus. You see what they're doing? Organizing a caucus, and then the caucus is going to go have press conferences, and they're going to start raising the voice, creating sound bites for their paid influencers to go and promote all over social media. This is how they're working to destroy RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy plan. Page 4. Risk of U.S. losing worldwide advantage in biotech. That's the actual memo. Now, this whole thing was actually, let me pull this closer up here. It's based on the investigative reporting of Dr. James Lyons Weiler. You can find him on X at Life Biomed Guru, and the full leaked memo breakdown at the Brownstone Institute at the link. Share it before it disappears. So let's dive deeper. This is the actual article. I'm going to show it to you. We're going to dive a little deeper here. But again, this is all on our X account. You want to find it for yourself. You want to review it. Here it is. Brownstone Institute, the plot to get RFK, public health James Lyons Weiler. It's about a 10-minute read. An apparent leaked minutes document suggests that a trade association held a meeting in April to undo the confirmation of Kennedy by the duly elected U.S. Senate. It is embedded below. And here's the caveat and clarification. All references to individuals, statements, or actions attributed in the leaked minutes of the Biovaccine Policy Steering Committee held April 3rd should be understood as excerpts from an internal document that had not been publicly authenticated by the named parties. These statements represent the content of the document as obtained and published and do not constitute confirmed factual claims about the intent, conduct, or position of any individual mentioned. Quite a disclaimer. The document reflects the internal framing and strategy of Bio and is presented here for the public to assess, interpret, and investigate. Readers are encouraged to seek independent confirmation, request public statements from individuals involved, and draw conclusions based on full context and corroborating evidence. The document was received anonymously by whistleblowers and provided to popular rationalism for public analysis. Its provenance is under review. So the article begins that on the eve, let's see if we pull up this, make it closer. On the eve before the U.S. Senate reconvenes, a detailed secret trade association memo plotting the removal of U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has leaked and reads like a coup attempt against regulatory reform. And they are spending millions to make sure Kennedy is out of office by September. It seems that the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, BIO, whose members include Pfizer, Merck, Novavax, and Vaxcyte, and hundreds of biotech firms that profit from regulatory insulation, has a mole. This article critiques the documented lobbying behavior of the trade group, BIO, not the internal operations or clinical data of its member corporations. When the nation's leading pharmaceutical trade group convenes a closed-door strategy meeting and openly discusses the need to go to the Hill and lobby that it's time for RFK Jr. to go, the issue is no longer health policy, it is democratic integrity. And according to the apparent leaked minutes, verified by the name of the creator of the file, they held a steering committee meeting whose internal summary soon to be publicly available thanks to whistleblowers reveals a campaign of strategic deception, institutional capture, and psychological warfare, and exposes a campaign of institutional deception, investor protection, and a coordinated sabotage of the Maha Reform platform. And according to the leaked document titled Bio-Vaccine Policy Steering Committee, April 3rd, 2025, they've committed $2 million, half of the cash reserve, to counter what they call a threat posed by Kennedy's rise. But this is no ordinary PR push. It is a multi-pronged campaign designed to deceive American public, silence dissent, and preserve industry dominance through influence operations masquerading as science. The plot has been exposed. The document opens with a blunt political calculation. Kennedy's candidacy threatens investor confidence. You hear that? Threatens investor confidence. That's their money. Regulatory predictability and long-term viability of the business. Bio leadership in the apparent leaked document states plainly, it's time to go to the Hill and lobby for RFK Jr. to go. To achieve this, according to the document, they intend to deploy surrogates across the political spectrum, co-opt conservative influencers, and bypass direct engagement with the Kennedy campaign altogether. Among the figures named, as I said earlier, Dr. Mehmet Oz, former Senator Richard Burr, former Senator of North Carolina, advisor DLPA Piper Health Policy Steering Committee, Senator Bill Cassidy, in a section of the document focused on strategic influencer engagement and legislative positioning. Strategic influencer engagement, that's so terrifying. I could just see like an army of social media goons being paid by these people. In the American Enterprise Institute, these individuals and institutions, the memo suggests, can provide a veneer of bipartisan legitimacy, and their core aim is to neutralize Kennedy without ever addressing the substance of his critique. Follow the money. The most revealing detail is that $2 million, precisely half of their entire $4 million reserve, has been allocated to communications, specifically a D.C. area pilot campaign called Why We Vaccinate. The purpose is not education, but behavioral influence, to combine inspire and frighten tactics in order to manipulate public sentiment and legislative behavior. Internal documents state clearly that the campaign's goal is to appeal to the movable middle using emotionally charged messaging capitalizing on fear messaging tied to national security, workforce resilience, and economic productivity. And why such an aggressive push? Because Vaxcyte COO Jim Wassel apparently warned investors have stated they are leaving until the next data readout, citing Kennedy's unpredictability as a systemic disruption to the capital pipeline. And given Kennedy's demand for restored liability, long-term data, placebo-controlled trials, I mean, these are the things that make these products healthy or not. This is how you determine their effectiveness. They're calling it a threat to the entire shortcut pipeline they built under the EUA conditions, the emergency use authorization conditions that started during the pandemic. Remember? Emergency use authorizations. They needed the emergency use authorization to jump to the head of the line to get all those jabs out into the public. And they want to keep those in place because they can roll out more. Bowell's fear is not scientific opposition. It's that Kennedy's regulatory scrutiny may render their current profit model obsolete. Wow. According to the document's summary, one participant expressed concern. Investors are sitting on the sidelines for the next 6 to 9 months. Capital has fled the sector, and Kennedy's reform agenda is making it difficult for pharma execs to assure investors that the regulatory terrain remains exploitable. The author states here, as a reminder, these statements are drawn from the contents of an internal memo, has not been publicly confirmed by the named individuals. Interpretations remain provisional. And here we have the language hijacking. It's all about the words that they use. The VPSC meeting wasn't just about funding, it was about redefining language. Officials emphasized a shift in framing from protect, defend, and maintain to streamline, optimize, and enhance. But these are not reforms they read as an attempt at narrative laundering operations. When Bio says efficiency, it means fewer safety requirements. When it says resilience, it means consumer obedience, not protection from harms. Held to the Kennedy bar. And when it says transparency, it means secretive PR-managed theater, not data disclosure. This is rhetorical mimicry, a deliberate tactic to adopt the aesthetic of reform while preserving the machinery of capture. This differs from standard PR in that it aims to overwrite language itself. Transparency is redefined as brand polish, efficiency as exemption from oversight, a deliberate attempt to steal the language of biomedical reform while ensuring that no structural reform ever occurs and no one notices the difference. So this continues, divide and conquer. It goes on. Fears of the public. Their own admission revealed the true motive behind the campaign, fear not of disease, but of regulatory disruption. With RFK Jr. and Commissioner McCarry and team tightening standards, and as standards should be tightened. We're talking about public health here. Bio executives are alarmed that predictable post-market surveillance standards are expected to be enforced, and with them, rapid market influence leverage built during Operation Warp Speed. Behind this campaign is fear, not of disease, but of accountability. Going into September, the leaked memo from Bio's Vaccine Policy Steering Committee never named September outright. Its entire architecture reveals a timeline racing towards it. September does mark a convergence point, political narrative and financial, where Bio knows it must have reshaped the battlefield or risk losing control of it entirely. By then, Congress will be back in full session after summer recess, and the fiscal year will near its end, placing policy, public health budgets, and FDA funding under the spotlight. Appropriations negotiations are not neutral in this climate. They are leverage points. If RFK Jr. maintains or grows his influence through the summer, Bio faces the real possibility that reformist voices could restrict their easy funding pipelines, delay regulatory approvals, or demand hearings that expose industry-government entanglements. Holy cow. September is also the reopening of American schools. And what do your kids have to do to go to school? Don't they got to show papers? Reopening of American schools and the media mind. They write here that fall marks the relaunch of political programming, the release of think tank policy reports, and the return of the elite opinion economy. Bio's $2 million in their campaign isn't a marketing push. It's a narrative strike, time to reassert emotional control over an audience emerging from summer distractions. They want to preempt Kennedy's messaging before he dominates the fall discourse with facts, reform principles, and the moral clarity of a movement demanding consent. September also sets a tone for the next political cycle. Through national elections, though national elections won't be held until later, 2 House special elections will serve as bellwethers. Candidate filings, local endorsements, and policy positions will crystallize as donors and power brokers assess momentum. And Bio knows it has a narrow window to discredit Kennedy before he becomes not just a candidate, but a coalition. And that's why the clock in the memo isn't ticking towards November, it's ticking towards September. Goes on into the global implications, ESG-driven pharma score systems, WHO treaty harmonization, AI-based censorship systems that erase dissenting viewpoints. Oh, my goodness. The April 3 memo must be read not just as a domestic political act, but as a nodal maneuver in a transnational agenda to control the terms of health, science, and consent. One AEI-aligned strategist even claimed that MAHA was a cover for a special campaign you see on screen, a telling attempt to delegitimize not arguments, but their right to exist. Pro-science is now that, and it has been for some time. This is not a war against misinformation. It's a war against public transparency in science. And they fear Kennedy not because he's wrong, but because he's exposed the scaffolding of a regime that substitutes marketing for medicine. He has publicly pledged reforms that, if enacted, could disrupt the financial regulatory relationships, and the memo appears to protect by requiring the firms to actually follow the rules. It's a $2 million smear campaign, not a show of strength. And he posts the actual memo that I showed you earlier. Here is the author, God bless him, James Lyons Weiler. Dr. James Lyons Weiler, a research scientist and prolific author with over 55 peer-reviewed studies and 3 books. Look at the books. He writes regularly on his Substack platform, Popular Rationalism, where he shares scientific analysis, insights, and commentary, and contributes occasionally to The Defender, published by Children's Health Defense. He's editor-in-chief of Science, Public Health Policy, and the Law. Founder and CEO of the Institute for Pure Applied Knowledge, where he conducts and supports research in the public interest aimed at reducing human suffering. His work spans biomedical research, including safety science, genomics, bioinformatics, and cancer. I mean, this guy is legit, okay? He's even got a Twitter account. We're following it now. Let's see, he's got a pinned post here from June 4th. 7 hours ago, he posted this: "Are conflicts of interest driving efforts to have Kennedy removed?" Emily Kopp. Interesting that former Senator Richard Burr is central to efforts to kick RFK Jr. to the curb. He lobbies for both major pharma trade groups and the University of North Carolina. Interesting. Emily Kopp digging into this point. And he was also mentioned in that article. Investigative reporter for the Daily Caller. I think may have met her. Is she at the White House? I don't know. I've met someone at the Daily Caller at the White House. But yeah, I've seen her name before. So give this guy a follow. Here he is 15 hours ago. So this is fresh, folks. This is fresh. Please encourage your communities to clamor and remind their senators, just now back in session, that they know of the Biopharma Trade Association plot, and they want to remind them to keep RFK Jr. in office so he can continue his work to make America healthy again. And you can help by sharing this report, going to our X account, sharing the thread that we've posted, just as our friend Roger Stone did. So, big stuff, big news. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. So this leaked memo isn't just about RFK Jr. It's about whether pharmaceutical corporations or the American people control our health policy. Now, Bio admitted that their investors are fleeing because Kennedy demands what every parent wants: real safety data, manufacturer liability, and honest science. Their $2 million war chest proves they'd rather destroy the messenger than debate the message. They're hijacking language itself, calling PR campaigns transparency while plotting in secret, using emotional manipulation instead of scientific evidence, recruiting establishment Republicans to provide cover for their corruption. The September deadline reveals their fear. Kennedy's reforms could end their regulatory capture forever. This is corporate warfare against our republic itself. Every senator must be warned about this plot. So call yours today. So here's my question. Should pharmaceutical companies that plot against public officials lose all government contracts? Let us know, yes or no, in the comments below. And you can support independent media in our efforts to bring this truth to the American people by just grabbing a cool shirt, Trigger Liberal, promoting Alligator Alcatraz or President Auto Pen. These small tokens of your purchase support our efforts here. So keep the truth flowing, grab some gear, and share this report right now. I like bourbon a lot. Gonna need some bourbon after that report. $5 he sent. It's about time someone, Greg Abbott, goes after Fauci. Yeah. They could go after him at the state level, even though President Otto Penn gave him a pardon. So yes, it's got to go down to the states. Yeah. So if you're following us on X, go over there right now. Share that report. Share that thread. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. 28,000 views from Roger Stone's post. Amazing. And our post, as it stands, has 45,000 views. 228 reposts, 13 quotes, 487 likes, and 119 bookmarks. Make your number known and repost this immediately. Okay. No other super chats to speak of at the moment. And let's see, here we go to chat, slim feed chat, big feed chat. There it is, big feed. Oh, the trivia answer. Yes, thanks for the reminder. Okay, you guys said that it was B, Pfizer, and you are correct. I don't even remember what I said. Did I even give an answer? I don't know. The answer was Pfizer. They hid deadly side effects of Bextra and paid the largest healthcare fraud settlement ever. Brian, what did I say an answer? Oh, I said Johnson & Johnson. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so I got it wrong.
How dare you?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, let's see what else is going on here. Let's see what we have here in the main feed. Michelle just dropped $5 just because, and she's number 2 on the leaderboard. Nice. Nice. Michelle is upping the game. Number 2 on the leaderboard, dropping $5 just because. Thank you. This $5 is representative of your super chat. So we're going to hit that up right there. We're at $50. Yay. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Bob Fioretti. Oh, I know Bob. Nice guy. Nice guy. And I'm not following him. I should follow him. Nice guy. He's following me. Attorney, experienced litigator, civic leader. Yeah, nice guy. Met him a few times. He posted this 15 hours ago. Pritzker's budget, $55.2 billion in new taxes. $39.4 million starts today. Pritzker begins a re-election bid with new taxes. Illinois is 51st in economic health and the most taxed state. 2026 will decide the future of the state, so choose wisely. Let's see. Eric Darty posted this 11 hours ago. Alligator Alcatraz has, in under 2 weeks, aluminum frame structure rated for 110 mile per hour winds, Category 2 hurricane, 158,000 square feet of housing, fully redundant power supply with backup generators, 3 times a day hot meals, nice, a staff village with a capacity of 1,000, 24/7 medical facility, a pharmacy, air conditioning, indoor and outdoor rec yards, legal and clergy support services, laundry, over 200 security cameras, 28,000 feet of barbed wire, and 400 plus security personnel. What is this?
Hey.
Yes.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Hey. So, how are you?
How are you doing?
I am good. Hey, William Bright.
Yes.
Lebanon Garden. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Today and this year. I must learn English.
I must learn English.
I must participate.
I must participate. Yes.
What's up?
Not sure what that was all about. Stephen Miller posted this a couple hours ago. What did he say here? The main domestic issues that animated the campaign were taking back America's culture, sanity, understanding. Almost everything else is downstream, banishing DEI and left-wing race bigotry, stopping trans and gender. Nice coffee mug. The condition of being completely unable to tolerate other people's BS. Corey Feldman posting this. Happy July 1st, everybody. I hope you are all enjoying characters and hopefully have Apple Music Dolby Atmos mix, but July 1 means my birthday is around the corner. Since I'm not touring this year, I decided to bring back my birthday concert, so come celebrate with some rock. What? July 27th, Corey Feldman and Friends birthday bash. Okay. I probably will get an invitation for that. Or maybe not. Okay, folks. We got more work to do. As you know, my work is never done. And,
kicked in and now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping. Quick.
Okay. Nice. Love the memes. Oh, here's CNN being forced to report gas prices at a 4-year low.
Prices are currently... It's pretty good news for millions of drivers expecting to hit the road for the 4th of July weekend.
Looks like gas prices are about to get cheaper.
Gas prices are currently the lowest that they've been since 2021. They're the lowest since 2021.
Hitting a 4-year low.
This doesn't just apply locally. Trends are being seen nationwide.
Including in Michigan, where it's about...
All right, folks, that is the show tonight, and what a show it's been. What a day, what a moment in American history. We start with Travis Gilmore's cross-country truth mission, exposing how mainstream media deliberately photographs empty spaces at packed Trump events. 2,500 miles of evidence that proves they're not making mistakes, they're making propaganda. Local news screams about ICE school raids that never happened. When CNN reports ghost towns at overflowing rallies, that's not journalism, that's psychological warfare against the American people. Then we witnessed the Senate cave to Trump's economic revolution. The one big beautiful bill cleared with Vice President Vance's deciding vote. And then setting up the greatest tax cut in history. Even Lisa Murkowski couldn't resist the MAGA wave. $4 trillion in tax hikes defeated, recession averted, prosperity incoming, and the establishment fought hard, but they fought harder. And then from the depths of the Florida Everglades, we toured Alligator Alcatraz, 3,000 beds, 30-foot walls, nature's own security force, built in 8 days while California can't fix a road in 8 years. Trump and DeSantis showing America what happens when leaders actually lead. And the message to criminal aliens couldn't be clearer. Your free ride through America just hit a swamp full of gators. The deportation wave has crashed across the nation. ICE raids accelerating. Tom Homan demanding justice. Pam Bondi suing sanctuary cities from coast to coast. While CNN commits federal crimes promoting escape apps. While Antifa thugs attack patriots, while liberal activists melt down at Home Depots, the scam is officially over. That illegal alien in Pennsylvania posing as a cop to lure children, he's exactly why the crackdown was overdue. And finally, the smoking gun. Big Pharma's $2 million plot to destroy RFK Jr. by September. The leaked bio memo exposes their terror. Investors are fleeing, profit models are crumbling, their entire racket threatened by one man's demand for basic safety standards. They're so desperate they're recruiting fake conservatives and hijacking reform language itself. So to everybody who sent in super chats tonight, $50. Thank you. You guys are tonight's MVPs. Can I press the button? Fist bump to you guys. Fist bump. It's your support keeps us exposing these criminals, and your voice matters. Your contributions fund this fight. So tell a friend about the Raw Feed. Share tonight's clips. Hit our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Trigger a liberal today with our new merch. Yes, we finally dropped some new merch. President Otto Penn and the Alligator Alcatraz shirt. Grab it. Wear your support proudly, because this is not just news, it is a revolution. Week 23 of Trump's return has delivered more victories than the establishment can handle, from tax cuts, deportation, to swamp prisons, to Big Pharma exposed. We are not just winning, we are dominating. So thank you for joining the Raw Feed. Keep fighting, keep sharing, keep supporting the independent media, and we'll see you next time when we expose even more. Until then, I am Gary Franchi reminding you, the truth will set you free. But first, it'll really tick you off. Good night, Patriots.